Welcome to the Alcohol-Free Lifestyle Podcast, where you learn to live a life of health, wealth, love, and happiness. Alcohol is a nuisance. I've been listening to a gentleman by the name of Mo Gawdat, who is the former chief business officer at Google X, and he is a best-selling author. He's written books including Solve for Happy, Scary Smart, Unstressable, That Little Voice in Your Head. And he's also an expert, I should say, on artificial intelligence and happiness. And he was talking about nuisances being this little drip of stress throughout our lives. And I was thinking, that's exactly what alcohol is. It's a nuisance. You can probably hear in the background dogs barking here. I'm just walking in my backyard here at the moment. Got dogs all around. So spend some time with me as I just stroll through the yard, sharing my views with you on the nuisances that cause stress, in particular alcohol. So Mo Gawdat talks about this acronym TONN, T-O-N-N. T stands for trauma, O stands for obsessions, N for nuisances, and N for noise. Interestingly, he says about trauma that 91% of people will experience at least one PTSD-inducing traumatic event in their lifetime. At least one. The most interesting part of that, though, is that 93% of those people will recover within 3 months. Isn't that interesting? So, a big traumatic incident. It might be a loved one dying, it might be losing a job. Trauma happens from outside of you. It's a major change in your life, and it hits you so hard, and it breaks you for a short time. 91% of people will experience at least one PTSD-inducing traumatic event in their life, but 93% of those people will recover within 3 months. So that's T in the acronym TON. Obsessions, the letter O, obsessions. These are the little things that you obsess over. They're micro issues that you tell yourself, but they actually don't exist in the real world at all. For example, I have a belly, so no one will ever love me. You can obsess about this for the rest of your life and make it your life story. This is an obsession. It's a story that probably isn't true. And we make it true. We have our belief system. That's an obsession. Then the first N is nuisances, which I'm going to elaborate on a little bit as it relates to alcohol shortly. But nuisances are the little stresses that you allow. It's the alarm clock that wakes you up first thing in the morning, checking social media, checking email, checking WhatsApp, text messages, taking the trash out, doing laundry. And I've come to realize that I can experience a dozen of those nuisances before I've even had my cup of coffee in the morning. In the first 15 minutes, the alarm goes off. I might check my text, emails, Slack messages, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. I've been guilty of that certainly in the past. This is a nuisance, and it's a devastating stress to us over time. Not so noticeable in the moment, but increasingly noticeable over time. And then there's noise. And noise is the good opinions of other people. I say good with a smirk on my face, like the opinions of other people, the news that you digest, the nagging little thought, oh, I'm getting older, the limiting beliefs that start to come into your mind. It starts as just this very small little belief, but then it grows into something much bigger, and it compromises our quality of life. It's not quite an obsession, as I explained in the first, as it relates to obsessions with the letter O, but noise, these little micro stories in our minds, these little things. Oh, I'm worried about that. Oh, I'm worried about this. Oh, what will people think? Maybe I should get 50 opinions. You watch the news. Oh, it looks terrible. The noise you allow into your life, even to an extent what you digest on social media, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, political leanings, political parties. You know, if you completely oppose one of those parties' views, then watching someone talking about their views is going to potentially trigger you or upset you. This is noise. Noise. But the one I want to focus on, as I said, is nuisances. And in this example that Mo Gaudat talks about, Tonn, nuisances are the little stresses that you allow: the alarm, the social media, the email, and alcohol. So let's think about alcohol. Think about the amount of time that you spend thinking about alcohol or thinking about not drinking alcohol. But let's just do this in the example of a drinker. The day has started, you go to work, you're working, you're stressed, you're anxious. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you start to get a taste, you start to go, oh, I'm looking forward to 5:36 when I get to have a glass of wine, or I get to have a beer or two. You're thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. And maybe you don't have alcohol at home. Maybe you've run out, and so you go, oh, I don't have any alcohol. Right, I'd best pop down the shop. I'd best go buy some. So now you get in your car and you intentionally drive to a liquor store or a supermarket and you get yourself a bottle of wine. So now you're parking the car, possibly. You're walking into the supermarket. You're searching in the wine section or the beer section. You're buying it. Now you're going to the checkout. You're waiting in line patiently, and the couple ahead of you have got 4 million items, and you're sitting there with your bottle of wine and you're just like, oh, this is annoying. You don't want to go into the self-checkout because that can be a disaster. Or maybe you do go to the self-checkout, but the bottle doesn't scan, and they have the beeping sounds, and then you have to get the customer support person to come over and help you, and this is all a nuisance. Then you get back in your car, and then you pull out, and now you're dodging traffic. You're waiting for the traffic light to turn from red to yellow to green, and then you're traveling through the traffic and you're riding in your little steel box trying to avoid other people in their little steel boxes, and then you finally get home and you pull in and you get out and you go into the home, and then you open the bottle of wine with a corkscrew and you pour the wine. Or maybe you've bought a 6-pack of beer but it's not cold, so you have to put it in the fridge and you've got to wait for it to get colder so you can enjoy it. And then you drink. That's all a big nuisance, in my view. How much time have you wasted thinking about it and now actually going out and purchasing it and then bringing it home? Now you may be listening and go, oh, well, this isn't right because I'll just get it on the way home. It's just a little 5 or 10 minute diversion. Okay, well, that's 5 or 10 minutes. Or maybe you say, oh, I've got to go get some groceries, and you use that as a justification for popping in and getting the alcohol. And now you're drinking the alcohol. There's the time that you actually spend consuming it. And you may have positioned this in your life as a relaxing exercise. Okay, this is a relaxing exercise. You get to sit down, pour yourself a glass of wine or a beer or whiskey or whatever it is. And then what do? You're probably scrolling on your phone. Maybe you're watching some news. Maybe you're watching a movie. Maybe you're doing a little bit of extra work, but you're consuming this alcohol. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, many of you know that you don't drink just one drink a night. It's 2, 3, 4. A lot of the folks that apply to be part of our Project 90 Stop Drinking program share with us that they can be drinking as much as 6 standard drinks a night, a bottle of wine a night, in many cases more. And they're functioning. Not necessarily a functioning alcoholic, because the term alcoholic doesn't actually exist in the current medical community or in the verbiage, clinical verbiage. Alcohol use disorder is actually the verbiage that's been used for the past 10 years. I actually did a podcast episode on this back in August, I think it was. If you scroll back through the show titles or the episode titles, you will find an episode that I did there around the term alcoholism as it relates to alcohol use disorder. That is a separate topic. But you are now spending time consuming the alcohol, returning to the kitchen to pour yourself another drink, going back, drinking, thinking, getting tired. Maybe you're thinking you're relaxing in the moment. You're getting drowsy. And like most adults, you're probably drinking close to bedtime. Let's just say you fall asleep usually somewhere between, let's just say 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. You're probably pouring your first drink at 7. Maybe you're still drinking, having a sip of drink at 9, 8:39. Well, that is now setting you up for a horrible night's sleep. It's true that you may pass out. It's true that you may find it easier to fall asleep as a result of you drinking the alcohol, but the sleep quality is going to be so compromised. There are so many studies that show that if you drink alcohol anywhere close to bedtime, that you will spend less time in that REM sleep, you'll spend less time in deep sleep, you'll spend less time in that restorative phase of sleep. And that will show up with either having to get up and urinate in the middle of the night, and even if you are able to hold it and seemingly don't toss and turn in the night, when you wake up you still feel tired. Why? Because you didn't have optimal sleep. You did not sleep the way that nature intended you to sleep. You slept with toxins in your body. You did not spend the full duration of time you could have slept in those beautiful phases of sleep because you consumed that alcohol. So you wake up a little bit irritable, a little bit tired. Sometimes, depending on how much you've drunk, you wake up with regret and shame and embarrassment. Maybe you got into a fight with your wife or husband, or you said something to your kids, or you didn't say something to your kids when they most needed you to say something. You weren't present. Maybe you procrastinated on something. There was a business thing you had to do to just catch up on work, but you didn't do it because you had a couple drinks under you and it was just too much. And so you were like, I'll deal with it tomorrow. And now you wake up and the cold, hard reality of the day hits you. You can taste the vodka or the scotch or the beer or the wine on your mouth. Even though before you went to sleep you brushed your teeth and you drank some water, you still wake up and you can feel it. And you're like, ugh, not again, not tonight. Oh, I can't keep doing this. I'm just really not going to drink tonight. Now that's a nuisance. It's a nuisance, the irritability, the fogginess, the shame, the regret, because now it's this drip, drip, drip of stress. Because now you're judging yourself for drinking, you're judging yourself for not feeling great, you're judging yourself for skipping something the night before, you're judging yourself possibly for not doing this morning what you said you were going to do last night. Maybe it was going to the gym, maybe it was exercising. And now that's a nuisance because there's an energy drip and the stress starts to come in. The shame, the regret, the embarrassment, the judging. I can't keep doing this. Am I going to keep doing this? I've got to stop. I'll just drink on weekends. Just one glass tonight. I'll cut back. I won't drink Monday through Thursday and then I'll drink on Friday. That'll be fine. Now we start bargaining, negotiating with ourselves. And on and on and on this nuisance goes. Then we go about our day. And then we have a little bit of relief. We forget about it mid-morning till mid-afternoon. And then it starts again. And you're looking forward to catching up with some friends that night, have a couple of drinks, maybe going home again. Now you're thinking about it. Oh, but I said this morning I wasn't going to drink. Oh, but I got invited out for colleague drinks. So, there's that dinner tonight. That's right. Of course I'm going to have a couple of drinks. So now you're thinking about it. And then, of course, you get to the restaurant or the event or wherever you are. You're socializing because life's to be enjoyed, right? Of course you're going to socialize. Of course you're going to engage with people. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Lock yourself at home and just be a hermit and do nothing? No, you're going to get out there and live life, right? And of course you're going to have a glass of wine. And when the waiter or the waitress comes over to the table and says, hello, sir, hello, ma'am, can I get you started with some drinks? Can I get you a wine? Would you like anything from the wine list? And they present you with this list of attractively packaged poisons. And you go, yeah, I'd love a Pinot Noir, thank you. I'll have the Shiraz, I'll have the Cabernet, I'll have the Riesling. Yeah, I'd love a Heineken. I'll take a Bud. And so on and so on and so on. And then we're drinking it. And even at the start of the dinner, we're saying to ourselves, I'm just going to have one, maybe two. I'm definitely not going to do dessert because I'm trying to cut back, because I know I'm drinking too much and probably eating not well. So I'm just going to have a little bit of have an appetizer, have the main. I'm definitely not going to have the dessert. And then of course you're now a drink in and 2 drinks in, and because alcohol makes you crave sugary foods, of course once you finish that main meal, someone suggests dessert. The dessert menu comes out, you look at it, you're 2 drinks, maybe 3 drinks in. Wow, it's tough to say no to that dessert. There's a creme brulee. What is it? Creme brulee? Did I say it right? There's a chocolate cake with a scoop of vanilla ice cream, and they present it so well on the dessert menu. It looks beautiful, it looks incredible, and the waiter, who's so polite, is selling this on you in such a beautiful way. Oh, I would definitely try the chocolate pudding with the scoop of vanilla ice cream. It's delicious. It's one of our most popular dishes. Oh, okay, yes. All right, let me have that. All right, go on. Oh, no, we'll just share it. You know, who wants to share one? Anyone want to share it? Okay, great, yeah. So just one and bring 3 spoons. Okay, yeah, okay. So we're negotiating with ourselves again. Then, of course, the dessert comes. We grab the spoon, and it's a fight to see who can get as much of this dessert as possible without it being obvious that they're getting as much as possible. But as soon as you got that taste, you want more. And maybe you're not drunk. Maybe you don't even have a buzz. Maybe you've had a couple of drinks only, but you know it's still 2 drinks more than what you planned on having when you woke up this morning. And now you've got a decision to make. Am I going to drive? Am I okay to drive? Of course I'm okay to drive. In most states in the US, it's 0.08. I'll be fine. In Australia, where I grew up, it's 0.05. Here, there's a bit more leeway. I'll be fine. But then you're thinking about it. But then maybe you think, maybe I'm not fine. Maybe I had 3 or 4 and I'm over the limit. Okay, I'd best not drive. I'm probably going to have to leave my car here overnight. I'll get an Uber home or a taxi. And that's what you do because you're smart, or your friends have encouraged you to do that. And then you get home. Maybe you have 1 nightcap before you go to sleep. Maybe eat something else because you still got that beautiful taste of dessert in your mouth and you just want a little bit before you go to sleep. And then you go to sleep and you have an awful night, and in the sense that you don't spend time in that deep restorative phase of sleep, and then you wake up and then you realize that your car is not there. Your car is back where you left it last night, and now it's a massive nuisance. It's a massive inconvenience. It's a massive problem because now you got to go back and get it. Now this might seem like an extreme case. You might be thinking, now this has never happened to you. Okay, congratulations. But even if that had never happened to you, even if you just had a few drinks the night before, in the best case scenario, you're now waking up feeling tired, lethargic, foggy, irritable, and because you cannot feel that, anything but that, because you've just destroyed your sleep, because you've consumed toxins and poison. And your body has been working throughout the night to get those toxins and poison out of your system. And now you're foggy and distracted, and you start just a little bit late today. You're just a little bit slower today. Then you procrastinate, you postpone a meeting, you push it back a little bit. Or if you just push through and say, okay, I've got to be on time. You're on time, but you're sitting there, you're listening. Your body is present, but your mind is not, because you're going, ugh. Shouldn't have had those drinks last night. Shouldn't have eaten that dessert last night. Man, I got to get back in the gym. I can't keep doing this. And on and on and on it goes. It's this little stress, these little stresses, these nuisances. These nuisances are the voluntary insanity of overstressing our lives. It's voluntary insanity of overstressing our lives. They're nuisances. And these nuisances cumulatively add up to severely compromise your quality of life, to severely compromise your experience of life. What's the flip side of that? Well, the flip side of that is you don't think about drinking, you don't go and purchase the drinks, you don't drink, you don't recover from drinking. You don't think about the drinking. Because when you think about it, the consumption of alcohol involves thinking about drinking, drinking, recovering about drinking, or recovering from drinking, I should say, and then thinking about drinking again, and on and on and on it goes. Think about how much time and energy and space that occupies in your mind. Thinking about drinking, purchasing drinks, consuming the drinks, sleeping off the drinks, recovering from the drinks, promising yourself that you won't be drinking again, breaking those promises by thinking about drinking, preparing for drinking, and then ultimately drinking. On and on and on and on it goes. How much space does this occupy in your mind? Imagine if you freed yourself of that. Freed yourself of that nuisance. Freed yourself of that space. And what was left was flow, ease, health, clarity, focus, recovery, sleep, energy, joy, calm, momentum. There's some of the feelings that you may experience. Certainly that's what our clients, many of our membership tell us once they have been at least a few weeks alcohol free. Time and again I hear it from clients who say, wow, I'm sleeping better. Wow, I've got more clarity. Wow, I'm getting things done. Wow, I'm just flying right now. In fact, today, just to share an anecdote, I was hosting a Zoom group coaching call with our boardroom clients. Boardroom is one of our stop drinking programs here at Alcohol Free Lifestyle. And a woman by the name of Amy, based in Denver, Colorado, was sharing that she was just kicking ass, to borrow her exact verbiage. That she was in momentum. That she was getting things done in her home, in her work, in her career, in her business. She was in a state of flow. And she said she never would have been in this state 2 years ago when she was drinking. She joined our Project 90 Stop Drinking program 2 years ago. She then went into Beyond 90, which is our secondary program, and then now she's a boardroom member, which is our third group membership program. And she said never would she have been in this momentum and flow state if she had been drinking, because she was foggy and distracted and irritable and not operating at her best. But now she is just kicking ass, just in flow. That's what's possible when you remove attractively packaged poison. That's what's possible when you remove the nuisances in your life, including alcohol. I referenced a few of them: the alarm clocks, scrolling social media, checking emails, texts, WhatsApps before you've even had a cup of coffee in the morning, before you've done anything meaningful in the day. Just nuisances, nuisances, nuisances. How much of a nuisance is alcohol in your life? Think about it. Think about it. What is the consequence of having alcohol in your life? What are the consequences, not just short term, but long term? Waking up feeling distracted, irritable, foggy, procrastinating, doing that week after week, month after month, year after year, and decade after decade. Make no mistake, that's what most drinkers do. That's how most drinkers behave. And if you're one of those listeners right now, I just invite you to ponder that. What are the consequences of allowing the nuisance of alcohol into your life? What would your life be like if you eliminated the nuisance? The first step is identifying the nuisance. Is it a nuisance? Are there consequences? Is it compromising your experience of life? If the answer is yes, next question is, well, what are you going to do about it? Next question is, how are you going to eliminate that nuisance? What are you going to do? Are you going to then do what most people tend to do, which is, I can do this. I'm a smart, successful person. I should be able to do this on my own. Are you then going to go and white knuckle it and use willpower and sign up to a 30-day challenge and say, I should be able to do this. I'm going to do it this time. And you're going to have lots of momentum, or think that you have lots of momentum. You have lots of enthusiasm, I should say. And you're saying to yourself, this time I'm going to do it. Well, let me offer this idea. Running enthusiastically in the wrong direction is stupid. Running enthusiastically in the wrong direction is stupid. And I would submit, trying to white knuckle it on your own is an ineffective strategy. It's been proven repeatedly. So what are you going to do instead? Most powerful way that I know is through the 5 pillars that I reference, and that is coaching, accountability, community, fun. Coaching, community, accountability, fun. I'm missing the 5th one. What is it? Bear with me here. My big dramatic finish has fallen apart at the seams. What am I missing? Community, coaching, accountability, community, fun, and I said it wrong again. Coaching, community, accountability, fun, skin in the game. That is it. Skin in the game. And the skin in the game is you have something to lose or something to gain. It might be that you pay for coaching is skin in the game. When you pay attention. It might be that you, if or when you fail, or sorry, let me rephrase that. You create a punishment that is so grand that it prevents you from failing. For example, if you absolutely despise Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, let's say you're a staunch Republican or a staunch Democrat, you commit to not drinking and you say publicly, if I drink, I'm going to make a $10,000 donation to the Republican Party. That's if you're a Democrat. Or I'm going to make a $10,000 donation to the Democratic Party if you're a Republican. The simplest way is you join a community, a like-minded community. And I'm not referring to an AA meeting where you go and you sit in a room and you can't resonate with the other members. You have nothing in common with them. You might be listening to this and you're a middle-aged, successful person, and now you're sitting in a room with a 19-year-old meth addict who holds up gas stations, who's talking for 15, 20 minutes about how they messed up their life. It might be interesting, it might be curious, but how can you relate to that person? A like-minded community. Like-minded community, such as here at Alcohol Free Lifestyle, are mostly entrepreneurs, executives, physicians, dentists, small business owners, professors, folks who are well-educated, articulate, in many cases affluent. That's an example of a like-minded community. In the New York Times best-selling book, The Power of Habit by Charles C. Duhigg, he says, change becomes probable, not possible, but probable when you have a like-minded community with a common goal. So getting into a like-minded community who all have the same goal of either reducing or stopping drinking, and getting that accountability and being guided by expert coaches who can identify your blind spots, who can reveal your blind spots, who can encourage you, push you, call you out on your BS at times, walk through the science, the neuroscience of alcohol and its damaging consequences. Then having a supportive group of people who you get to know and make friends with, who you support and who support you with that accountability and that community. And you have skin in the game because now you've paid attention, you've made promises to your fellow community members. That is what gets people alcohol free for at least 90 days, which is long enough, as repeated studies have shown, to break a habit. 90 days is the sweet spot. There's some studies that suggest that 66, 67 days does that. In our experience, 3 months, 90 days, 1/4 is enough to break the habit, break the cycle, and to experience the beautiful clarity and focus and energy that comes from being 90 days alcohol free. And from there, you then have the power to choose. What are you going to do? Now, thankfully and beautifully, most of our clients who get to 90 days ultimately make a choice, and that choice is to remain alcohol free. And then it's like compound interest. It just keeps getting better and better and better and better with time. People such as Amy, now 2 years alcohol free, describing herself as being in flow and in momentum. The universe just delivers what she wants and what she desires. That's what happens when you avoid, or you eliminate, I should say, the nuisance of alcohol. When you eliminate the nuisance of thinking, drinking, recovering, thinking, drinking, recovering, thinking, drinking, recovering, and on and on and on it goes. Do a stock take. Think about it. Thank you so much for listening. I'm James Swanwick. I will catch you on the next one.